Hey guys, welcome back to another Minecraft pixel art remake tutorial. I'm going to be remaking the tutorial for the I think, is it the third? I think it's the third pixel art that I've ever created in Minecraft, which was about maybe 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I'm not sure how long ago it was. It could be 3 years ago for all I know. But yeah, it was a very long time ago, so we're going to be remaking that pixel art, or at least I'm going to be remaking the tutorial, because I have come a long way when it comes to instructing you on how to make these pixel art tutorials. So it's going to be a lot easier now to make because of this remake, and I do plan on making other pixel art tutorials. I'll remake those because the way I've instructed you on those past tutorials, kind of my first beginning tutorials, was definitely far from the best. Okay, so of course, make sure to check for a height limit. I don't think I have to mention that, but I think I should. Make sure you're playing on the Minecraft version of the PC or the Xbox or the 360 or like Xbox One or PlayStation or any of the PlayStations, I guess, that have Minecraft, which is 3 and 4. If you're playing on the phone, which is the Android or the iPhone, the iPod, or the iPad, there's a chance you're going to hit the height limit, so make sure to build the pixel art on the ground. To this day, I still get comments saying, "Oh, I reached the height limit and I can't build upwards anymore." Please, 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 if you're playing on the Minecraft Pocket Edition, which is the handheld, in other words, if you're not holding a controller or if you're not holding a mouse to play Minecraft, then you're using probably the Pocket Edition. So build the pixel art laying on the ground, again, if you're playing on the Pocket Edition. Alright, so now, the blocks that we're going to be needing for this pixel art are as follow: the black wool, the stone block, the light gray wool, the white wool, the sand, the oak plank, the jungle plank, the yellow plank, the pink plank, and the red wool. So these are all the type of blocks you're going to be needing. I do recommend placing them down right here. That way, when you come back or you want to take a break, you know all the different type of blocks that you're going to be needing in your inventory. And of course, your friends can see all the different type of blocks that went into making the pixel art when you decide to show it off. Okay, so now we're going to be flying over to the center block. Now this pixel art is going to be a large one, just like any other, so I recommend finding a very large place that's just empty, that has nothing in it. So make sure to do that. And we're going to be switching over to the black wall, and we're going to be putting a center block wherever you guys would want, wherever you have enough space for it, because this is going to be marking the very center of the pixel art, which is why it's called the center block. I do use terms in my tutorials, so just keep that in mind. Alright, now we're going to start on the right side of the center block, so starting on top of this grass block here. This is the first block we're going to count. We never count the center block. So starting over here on the right side, we're going to count all the way up to the number 86. That's 86. That's a lot of numbers. And I do recommend counting with two different type of blocks. So let's say you use 10 yellows, and then you use 10 pinks, then go back to 10 yellows. That way you don't lose count, and you can see if you've miscounted. So go ahead and, well, don't do it just yet, but if you're new, if you're not new, you probably know what's already happening. So starting from this grass block, this is going to be 1, this is going to be 2, 3, so on and so forth, and you're going to count all the way up to the number 86. Now, when you hit the grass block, that is 86, you're going to switch over to a placement block, which is the bookshelf in this case, and you're going to go ahead and put a placement block on top of the grass block there. So go ahead and pause the video now to do that, because this is very important to detect any mistakes early on, so you don't have to, let's say, spend 2 or 3 hours only to realize that you messed up the entire pixel art. This is why it's always important for this part, the beginning. Okay, so once you've done that, we're going to fly all the way back to the center block, and this time we're going to start on the left side of it. So starting on top of this grass block, we're going to count all the way up to the number 86. So the grass block again, this being the first block, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, so on and so forth. We're going to count all the way up to the number 86, and once we hit the grass block that is 86, we're going to be breaking the grass block that was 86, and we're going to go ahead and put a placement block there in its place. So go ahead and pause the video now to do that. Alright, so once you've done that, we're going to be switching over to the black wall. Now with the black wool, starting on top of the placement block that we put on the ground, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 4 black wools going diagonal up to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's get rid of those. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now place 4 blocks diagonal up to the right. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, I do recommend using the placement blocks like this. I don't want you guys doing this. Don't do this right now. I'm just showing you this as an example. When I said go 4 diagonal, I don't want you doing this. Don't do this. Don't use the same different type of block. Or some other different block that's kind of similar to it. Don't do that. I don't want you guys doing that. I want you guys to be doing this. This is why I'm introducing the placement block to every pixel art tutorial that I've made so far, because there's been a lot of changes compared to the very first tutorials I've ever made for my pixel art. So please use the placement block. That way you're guaranteed to know which different type of blocks you're going to be breaking, because in my current terms, there are linked blocks that look like this. And you don't want to be accidentally breaking a block or adding an extra block that you really didn't need, only because you're using the same different type of block. It's not a very simple pixel art. These pixel arts are large with so many placement blocks and whatnot. You don't want to confuse yourself, so just make your life easier. Use the placement block, because this has more than just one purpose than having to help blocks reach their destination. They serve more than that. Okay, and they reduce the chances of you actually messing up. If you don't believe me, go watch the old pixel art tutorials. You'll always see one person or 5 people or however many people always saying, Felix, how come I'm always 1 block off? So please use the placement block. It's not going to kill you. Okay, so now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2. And now starting on top of the right block of these 2 black walls, we're going to be placing 1 block. So that's 1. Now we're going to head back down here, starting from the right block of the 2 black walls here. So starting from this block, we're going to be placing 2 blocks diagonal down to the right. So that's 1 and 2. And of course, guys, if you feel like the pixel art tutorial is going a little too fast for you, make sure to hit that pause button. There's no need to leave a dumb comment saying you're going too fast, I can't believe it, blah, 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 when YouTube has a pause button. There's a pause button on the video, guys. If it's going a little too fast, make sure to hit that pause button so you can catch up. Alright, so now we're going to be placing 4 blocks going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to be placing 1 block going down to the left. That's 1. Now, starting underneath this 1 black wall, so starting from there, we're going to be adding 2 blocks going across to the left. So that's 1 and 2. Now from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 1 block going down to the left. So place 1 block there. And it should be making contact with the ground. It should look like that. Now we're going to be switching over to the stone block for just a sec. So let's switch over to the stone block. Let's head back to this backwards L shape that we made with this 1 block, and then we had 2 across underneath it to the left. Starting on top of this 1 black wall, we're going to be placing 1 stone block. So that's 1. Now we're going to be switching over to the light gray wall. So let's switch over to the light gray wall. And we're going to be placing 1 light gray on top of this stone block. And another light gray on the left side of it. So it should look like this. Now, starting on the left side of this light gray wall, so starting from here, we're going to be adding 4 blocks going up from it. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now place 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. Now we're going to be switching over to the white wool. And with the white wool, we're going to be filling in this empty space here with the white. Let's fill this in. And once you've done that, we're going to be switching over to the stone block. And we're going to be filling in the remaining empty space that's right here with the stone block. So let's fill this entire space here with stone. Now another thing that I want to tell you and make sure you understand is that you don't get comfortable with my vocal instructions. Please make sure to glance back over at the video. Don't just be listening to the video. Make sure you're watching. because I am human, so there's a chance that I will make a mistake. I could accidentally say go 3 blocks to the left, when in fact I meant go to the right, and in the video it shows me going to the right. But if you're only listening to my voice, then you've only heard the mistake of me saying accidentally going to the left when I meant right. So, when in doubt, if I say something and it doesn't match what I'm doing in the video, when in doubt, always do what the video does. The vocal instructions is only there as an aid, but the video is showing you exactly what to do. Okay, so now that we have this, we're going to be switching over to the black wool again. We're going to be doing some more black wool outline, and let's see, to do that, we're going to head back up here, going back all the way to the top of this empty space that we filled in, this backwards L shape here. We're going to start from the top block of it, so starting from that block, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going diagonal up to the right. That's 1 and 2. And now place 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1 and 2. Next, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And now place 3 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2, 3. And you know what? Something funny just occurred to me. By the way, it should look exactly like this. So go ahead and pause the video if you have to, just compare. Something also just occurred to me just now, that I didn't even mention who we were making. Although you saw, you already saw it in the title and in the thumbnail. But it's Natsu from Fairy Tail. I believe it's the 3rd pixel art that I've ever made. That's the only thing I said. The 3rd pixel art I ever made. Never actually mentioned him by name. It's Natsu from Fairy Tail. Okay. Now, starting from the top block on the right block of these 3, so starting from there, we're just going to be placing 1 black wool, so that's 1. And now we're going to go back down here again, back to the right block of these 3 across, so starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. So that's 1, 2. And now starting underneath the right block of these 2 blocks going across, so starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 6 blocks going down. So adding 6 down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Once we've done that, starting from the bottom block on the left side, we're going to be placing 1 black wool. So that's 1 right there. And now starting underneath the 1 black wool that we just placed, so starting from there, we're going to be adding 2 blocks going across to the left. So that's 1 and 2. So we have this backwards L shape again. Now, starting from here, we're going to be placing 1 block going down to the left. That's 1. And now from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2. And now to close it off, we're going to be placing 3 blocks diagonal down to the left. That's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of that placement block. I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this so far. So now we're going to move back up to the right a bit, going back over here to this backwards L shape again, not too far where we just left off, just moving back up here. We're going to start from the right block of these 2 black wools going across. So starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 6 blocks going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's fly up. Let's get rid of that placement block. Let's fly back down. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going down on the left. That's 1 and 2. Let's get rid of those. Alright. Now let's switch over to the stone block. Now, starting on top of this grass block here, that's on the right side of these black wools. So starting from there, we're just going to be placing 2 stones going across to the right. So that's 1, 2. And now switch over to the light gray wool, and we're going to add 2 light grays going across on top of these 2 stone blocks. So that's 1 and 2. Now we're going to be switching over to the black wool. Now with the black wool, starting over here on the right side of these two stones, starting on top of this grass block here, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 sets of 2s going up on the right. So that's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 1, 2, 3. So that's what 3 sets of 2s looks like. I do use the sets, this term set, in my tutorial, so just keep in mind that I'm going to be doing that a lot. It's going to be repeating, but just to give you a definition of what this right here is, I said the number 3, and then I said set of 2s, and in each group there's going to be 2 blocks. So 3 sets, that's the first number, 3 is going to be the group number, and the second number is going to be how many blocks are in each group. So this is the first group, it has 2. This is the second group, it has 2. This is the third group, it has 2, which in total adds up to 3 sets of 2s. So just saying that summarizes this. So just keep that in mind. I'll explain further on when we come back to similar stuff like this. And the number always changes, but the definition stays the same. It's okay if you didn't understand, I'll explain later when we come back to other parts like this. Okay, now starting from this block, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going up on the right. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And now from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 4 blocks going up on the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to be switching over to the placement block, and we're going to be putting a placement block from the top block on the right side of these 4 black walls. Place 1 placement block there. Then switch back over to the black wall. Now starting underneath this placement block, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going diagonal up to the right, going up to the right. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of the placements. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going up on the right. That's 1, 2. Once we've done that, we're going to be switching over to the placement block, and we're going to be putting a placement block on the top block on the right side of these 2 black walls. Put 1 placement block there. Now switch over to the black wall, starting on top of the placement block. So starting from here, we're going to be adding 3 blocks to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of that. And now from here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the light gray wool. And with the light gray wool, we're going to be placing 1 block on the right side of these 2 black wools. So place 1 light gray wool there. And now starting underneath this 1 light gray, so from here, we're going to be adding 3 blocks across to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to be finishing off by placing 1 block going down to the left. So that's 1. And now we're going to be switching over to the white wool. And with the white wool, we're going to be filling in this empty space here with the white wool. So let's fill that in. So it should look like this. Now let's switch over to the black wool. Now starting on top of this 1 light gray wool. So starting from here, we're going to be placing 5 black wools going up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now place 1 block going up to the left. So that's 1. So now we're going to be moving back down here, back to this 1 light gray wool. Starting on the left side of it, starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 black wools going across to the left. So that's 1, 2. And now we're going to be placing 1 block on top of the left block of these 2 black wools. So place 1 black wool there. And now starting from the left block of these 2 blocks going across, so starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2. And now we're going to close this off by placing 3 blocks diagonal down to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. and should be making contact with these other 6 black walls that we had going down underneath those 2 blocks that we had going across. So fly back a bit so you can see that everything should look exactly like this. Now we're going to be switching over to the stone block, and we're going to head back over here to this empty space that's right next to this area that we just or that we already filled in. But going back to this empty space, we're going to go to the very bottom of this space, which is on top of this black wall. We're going to be placing 1 stone block on top of it, so that's 1. And now switch over to the light gray, and we're going to be placing 2 light grays going across on top of these two blocks here. So that's 1 and 2. So it looks like that. Whoops. Alright, so now we're going to move back up to the left a bit, going to these 2 diagonal that we had going to the left from this backwards L shape here. We're going to start on top of this 1 black wall that's making contact with the white. So on top of it, we're going to be placing 1 light gray wall. So that's 1. And from this one, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. So switch some blocks around. That's 1. And now place 2 blocks going up on the right. That's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks diagonal up to the right. So that's 1 and 2. Next, we're going to be switching over to the stone block. And with the stone block, we're going to be filling in these 3 small spaces here. In between the black wall and the light gray wall, we're going to be filling them in with the stone block. So go ahead and do that now. Fill this in with stone. So it should look like that. Now we're going to be switching back over to the black wall. We're going to continue some more black wall outlining. Let's head back up here to these 3 black walls we had going across. And on top of the right block, we have this 1 block. We're going to start from this 1 block. So starting from this 1 block here, we're going to be placing 3 sets of 2s going across on the upper level to the right. So 3 sets of 2s. So that's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Get rid of the placement blocks, fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Again, this is another just term. Don't concern yourself with memorizing the numbers because the numbers are always going to be changing. It's just the definition of the term you have to understand. So the very first number that you hear when it comes to sets, the first number is going to be how many groups are there. So this, I said 3. So this is the first group, this is the second group, and this is the third group. That makes it 3 groups. And what determines how many blocks are in each group is going to be the second number you hear, which is 2. So I said 3 sets of 2s. First group has 2, second group has 2, third group has 2. So that's 3 sets of 2s. Okay, so now we're going to head back up here, starting from the right block of these 2 blocks going across. So from there, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, that's 1, and 1, 2, that's 2. And whenever I'm placing them, I'm always going to be counting how many are in each group first, and then I'll be saying the group number. So in this case, I said 1, 2, I was counting them, and then when I finished counting them, I said the number 1, signifying that that was the end of the group, and then I came back up here, I said 1, 2, and then I said 2, signifying that this is the second group, completed. So again, that's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. It's pretty simple and easy. And the reason why I do this is because in later pixel art parts of this tutorial, there's going to be a lot of them. A lot longer than this. I'll save us some time. Okay, so now starting from this block, we're going to be placing 2 sets of 3s going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 2 sets of 3s. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 1. 1, 2, 3. And that's 2. 2 sets of 3s. Let's get rid of the placement blocks. And now we're going to move back over here to the first 3 that we placed going across. Not with the last one, but over here, the first one. So going back to these first 3, starting from the right block of these 3. So from that block, we're going to be placing 5 blocks going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get rid of that. Let's slide back down. And from here, we're going to be placing one block going down to the left. That's 1. And it should make contact with these 3 black walls that we had going across here. Alright, so now we're going to head back, let's head back up here, going all the way back to the top, going back to these 3 blocks, starting from the right block. So from that, we're going to be placing 4 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to be placing a linked 5 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's a linked 5. That's not a regular 5. We don't need a placement block for this because linked blocks are connected. So again, linked 5 blocks going across upper level to the right. So it should look like this. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So because I said it was on the upper level, which means it's going to start on top of it, and since it's a linked, it's going to be connected to the blocks, or to the block from where we're going to start. So again, this is what a linked 5 looks like. Don't concern yourself with the number. The numbers are always going to change. You just have to concern yourself with understanding the definition. So again, this is a linked 5. Okay, so now we're going to, let's say, switch over to the stone block. And with the stone block, let's head back to these 4 black walls, starting on the right side of the 4 black walls. So from there, we're going to be placing 2 stone blocks going across to the right. That's 1, 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the black wall, and we're going to be placing 1 black wall on the right side of these 2 stones. So place 1 black wall there. And now we're going to be placing 2 black walls going across underneath these 2 stone blocks. So that's 1 and 2. Now, starting underneath the left block of these 2 black walls, so starting from there, we're going to be adding 12 blocks going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 black walls. Once we've done that, we're going to head back over here to the left, starting from the left block of these 12 black walls that we had going across. So starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going across on the lower level to the left. So that's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. Let's get rid of these. Let's head back down here, and we're going to close this off by placing 2 blocks diagonal down to the left. That's 1 and 2. And it should be making contact with the 5 blocks that we had going down here. So let's get rid of that placement block. And now we're going to head back up here to the first 2 blocks that we had going across to the left from where we started from the 12 blocks. We're going to be switching over to the stone block, starting on top of the right block of these 2 black walls. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 stone blocks going up. So that's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the light gray wall, starting on top of this black wall that's right next to the stone. We're going to be placing 2 light grays going up. So that's 1 and 2. And it should look exactly like this. So now we're going to move on. We're going to be switching over to the... Let us see. We're going to be switching over to the black wall again. We're going to head back over here to the right side of the 12 blocks that we had going across. Let's head back over here. Starting from this block, we're going to be placing 3 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to be, let's see, we're going to be switching, no, not switching, but we're going to be starting on top of the middle block of these 3 blocks that we have going across. So starting on top of this block here, we're going to be placing 1 black wall. So that's 1 on top of the middle of the 3. And now from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. Now that we've done that, we're going to head back down here to the 3 blocks across, and we're going to start from the right block of the 3. So starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the lower level to the right. That's 1, 2. And now place 5 blocks diagonal down to the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now let's get rid of the placement blocks. And now we're going to head back down, and we're going to be switching over to a placement block. So let's switch over to the placement block, heading back down here. Underneath this one black wall, we're going to be placing one placement block. Let's place one block there, so it should look like that. Now switch over to the black wall, starting on the right side of this placement block. So starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 4 blocks going up. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's fly back down, get rid of that placement block. Now let's fly back up here. And from here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks diagonal. Let's see, yeah, 2 blocks diagonal up to the right. I was second guessing myself there. That's 1 and 2. So again, it should look like that. The 2 diagonal from the 4 blocks that we just placed here. Alright, so now we're going to go back down here. Going back to the bottom block of these 4 black walls that we placed going up. So starting from here, we're going to be placing 3 diagonal down to the right. So 3 diagonal, that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's head back down here. And we're going to be placing 4 blocks going down on the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to be switching over just for a sec. We're going to be switching over to the jungle planks. Now with the jungle planks starting from the bottom block on the right side of this 4 black walls going down, we're going to be placing 1 jungle plank. So put 1 jungle plank there. Now we're going to be switching over to the black wall, starting underneath this 1 jungle plank. So from there, we're going to be adding 9 black walls going down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And it should be making contact with the grass block and with the ground like this, with the 9. Okay, so now we're going to head back up here. Now, starting on top of the jungle plank there. So from there, we're going to be placing 4 blocks diagonal down to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's get rid of the placement blocks. Let's head back down here. And from here, we're going to be placing 7 blocks going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And it should be making contact with the ground. So let's fly up, get rid of that placement block. Now let's fly back down here. And we're going to be switching over to the yellow wall. Now with the yellow wall, since we just created this empty space that's right here, starting from the bottom right corner of this empty space, so from there, we're going to be placing 2 yellows going across to the left. So that's 1, 2. Now we're going to be switching over to the jungle planks and put a jungle plank on the left side of these 2 yellows. So put 1 jungle plank there. Now let's switch back over to the yellow wall. Starting on top of the jungle plank, we're going to be placing 3 yellows going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now let's start again on top of the left block of these 3 yellows. So from there, we're going to be placing 2 yellows across to the right. So that's 1 and 2. And now let's move on top of the left block of these 2 yellows. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 yellows going up. So from here, that's 1, and that's 2. And it should look like this. So now we're going to be switching back over to the jungle plank, and we're going to be filling in this empty space here, the remaining space, with the jungle plank. So let's do that now. Fill that in. And it should look like that. Alright, so now we're going to be switching over to the oak plank. So switching over to the oak plank now, we're going to move back up here just a bit, going back to where we had the 3 diagonal down to the right that came from the bottom block of these 4 black walls. You can see here the 4, then we had the 3 diagonal, and we're going to start underneath the black wall here. That's the last block of the 3 blocks. So starting from there, we're going to be placing with the oak plank 12 blocks down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we're going to be placing one block going down to the left. That's 1. And it should be making contact with the ground like this. Once you've done that, we're going to be filling in this empty space that's right here, the skinny space. We're going to be filling this in with the oak plank, so fill that in. So it looks like that. Now we're going to be switching over to the red wool for just a sec. We're going to switch over to the placement block. Now with the placement block, we're going to head back up here, back to this one black wool where we started underneath with the oak planks here. Going back to the same black wool, this time starting on the left side of it. With the placement block, we're going to be adding 3 placements going to the left. So that's 1, 2, and 3. And now we're going to be switching over to the red wool. And starting on the left side of the placement block, we're going to be placing 2 red wools going across. So that's 1, 2. And now let's get rid of the placement blocks. And it should look like this. We're going to come back to Natsu's logo that you see on his arm or his tattoo or whatever it's called. I'm pretty sure it's called a tattoo. But we're going to come back to this red dragon symbol, or at least I believe it's some sort of symbol. I don't know, guys. Don't hate me. I don't watch the show. It was requested, so I made it. I don't really watch everything I get requested. Okay, so don't worry. We're going to come back to this red wool in part 2, but we're going to continue on in part 1, outlining a few more things. So let's switch back over to the black wool now. Now with the black wool, what I want to outline before we actually finish off this tutorial part, we're going to head back up here. Or, let's see, no, we're going to head back down here. I kind of want to finish this corner first. Let's head back over down here to the right, going back to the top block of these 7 black wools that we had going down on the right. So going back to the top block of these 7, so starting from this block, on the right side, we're going to be placing 1 black wool, so that's 1. And now from this 1 block, we're going to be placing 1 block going down to the right. So that's 1. And now place 2 blocks going down on the right. That's 1, 2. And now to close it off, we're going to be placing 3 blocks diagonal down to the right. So 3 diagonal down to the right. That's 1, 2, and 3. Let's get rid of the placement blocks. Now we're going to be switching over to the white wool. And with the white wool, you can see that we just created an empty space that's right here with the help of the black wool outline. We're going to go to the very top of this empty space. Underneath this black wool, we're going to be placing 1 white wool. So that's 1. And now we're going to be switching over to the black wool, starting underneath this 1 white wool. So from there, we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going down on the left, or on the right, starting on underneath this block. So 2 sets of 2s going down on the right. So that's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. And now place 1 block going down to the right. That's 1. Once you've done that, we're going to be filling in this small space that's right here that looks like an empty L space. We're going to be filling this space here with the black wool, so fill that in. And once you've done that, you're going to be switching over to the yellow wool, and with the yellow wool, we're going to be filling in these 2 empty spaces here, or with the white wool. I don't know why I called it yellow. I guess it's because I was staring at it. With the white wool, we're going to be filling these 2 empty spaces here with the white. So go ahead and do that now. Again, this is another reason why it's important that you're making sure you're watching the video as well. Don't just pay attention to it. Okay. So now we're going to be switching over to the oak planks. So let's switch over to the oak planks, and we're going to do some more oak plank placements. So let's head back over here to the left just a bit to this single large area here that we just placed that red wool there just by itself, the 2 red wools in this empty space. So going back to this large space here, we're going to fly all the way to the very bottom left corner of this large space, which is down here by these 2 black wools going across. So we're going to skip a grass block going to the right. So we're going to skip this space here, and we're going to start on top of this grass block. So we're going to start from there, leaving a block gap between these 2. So starting from there, we're going to be placing 3 oak planks going up. So that's 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to be placing 3 sets of 2s going up on the right. So that's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Let's get rid of the placement blocks. Let's head back up here. And we're going to be placing one block going up to the right. That's 1. And now 2 blocks going up on the right. That's 1, 2. And to finish it off, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And once you've done that, we're going to have to head back down here. Fly back down here to the right, or to the left. To the left. We're going to be filling in the 3 empty spaces that we left behind in between the oak plank and the black wool. We're going to be filling those in with the oak planks, so fill those in. So it should look like that. Okay, so now we're going to switch back over to the black wall. And we're going to continue doing a little more outlining, and then we're going to do a time-lapse part of filling this area here with certain blocks, and then we'll end it, and then we'll continue in part 2. So let's switch back over to the black wool. Let's head back up here to where we had the linked 5 black wools we had going across. Starting from the right block of these linked 5 blocks, so starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going up on the right. That's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. And now we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And now 2 blocks going up on the right. So that's 1, 2. I'll fly back a bit so you can see that it should look exactly like this. Remember, you don't want to be 1 block off, so make sure you're paying attention to when I say place 1 block like that. Alright, let's head back up here. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2. Next, we're going to be placing 10 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's fly back over, get rid of that placement block. And we're going to quickly switch over to the stone block, and we're going to be placing 1 stone block underneath the left block of the 10 black wools that we just placed. Let's go ahead and put a stone block there. Now we're going to be switching back over to the black wool, and we're going to be placing 1 black wool on the right side of the stone. Let's place 1 black wool there. And now from this 1 block of black, so this one here, we're going to be placing 2 sets of 2s going down on the left. So that's 1, 2, 1, and 1, 2, 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks diagonal down to the left. That's 1 and 2. And now place 2 blocks going down on the left. So that's 1, 2. Now once you've done that, we're going to be switching over to a placement block. Now with the placement block starting on the bottom block on the left side of these 2 black wools, we're going to be placing 1 placement block there. Now we're going to switch back over to the black wool, starting underneath this placement block. So from there, we're going to be placing 13 blocks going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 13 blocks. Let's fly over, and let's get rid of that placement block. Now, while we're here, over here on the left side of the 13 black wools, starting from the left block of the 13, so from here, we're just going to be placing 1 block going down to the left. So that's 1. And now that you've done that, we're going to be switching over to the stone block. Now with the stone block, starting on the right side of this 1 black wool, so starting from there, we're going to be placing 2 stones across to the right. So that's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the light gray, and we're going to be placing 1 light gray wool on the right side of this stone, so that's 1. Once you've done that, we're going to be switching over to the white wool, and we're going to be filling in this remaining empty space here with the white wool. So let's fill this here with white. And once you've done that, we're going to be switching back over. Let's see. We're going to switch back over to the stone block. Now, with the stone block, let's head back over here to the left a bit. And we're going to be filling this empty space here with the stone block. So fill this in with stone. So it should look like that. And now while we still have the stone block, let's head back down here. Going back to these 2 black walls that we had going down, and directly underneath it we have these 13 black walls. Starting from the bottom block on the right side of the 2 black walls, so starting from there, with the stone block, we're going to be placing 2 stones going up. So that's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be placing 2 blocks diagonal up to the right, so that's 1 and 2. And now we're going to be switching over to the light gray wool. Now with the light gray wool, starting on the right side of this stone block here, so from there, we're going to be placing 7 light gray wools going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now we're going to be switching over to the black wool, starting on the right side of the 7 light grays. So from there, we're going to be placing 4 black wools going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that we've done that, let's head back over here, going back to the left block of these 4 black wools. So starting from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going down on the left. So that's 1, 2. And now place 1 block going down to the left. That's 1. Next, we're going to fly back up here. Let's go back all the way back up here, back to the right block of these 10 black wools we had going across here to the right, going back all the way up here. Starting from the right block of the 10, so from this block, we're going to be placing 1 block going down to the right. So that's 1. And now starting underneath this 1 block, so starting from there, we're going to be adding 10 blocks going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's 10. And now we're going to head back to the left block of the 10 black wools that we just finished placing. So let's head back to the left block of it. So from this block here, we're going to be placing 2 blocks going down on the left. So that's 1, 2. And now place 1 block going down to the left. That's 1. And now we're going to be switching over to the light gray wool. Now with the light gray wool, starting on the right side of this 1 black wool that we just placed, that went down to the left, so starting from here, we're going to be adding 8 light grays going across to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now place 2 blocks going across on the upper level to the right. That's 1, 2. Now to close it off, we're going to be placing 1 block going up to the right. That's 1. And it should be making contact with the black wall there. So next, we're going to be switching over to the stone block, and we're going to be filling in this single empty space here that we just created. We're going to be filling this in with the stone block, so go ahead and fill that in with stone. Do it now. So it should look like that. Now we're going to be moving over here to the left, and we're going to be filling in this single space here, staying within the outline. So just fill this single space here with this stone block as well. Let's fill this in. And once we've filled this empty space here, we're going to be switching over to the white wall now. So let's switch over to the white wall. And what we're going to do with the white wall is we're going to be filling in, and this, pay attention too, because this is going to be time-lapse. In other words, it's going to be fast forward, because you don't need to see a 5 extra minutes of me filling in blocks in silence. So just pay attention. This is going to be fast forwarded. All right, you're going to be filling in this empty space here with the with the, even I'm getting confused. Not with the white wool. You're going to be filling this in with the light gray wool. In fact, we'll do it right now because I don't want to confuse you. I already confused myself there for a second. Just fill this empty space with the... Not the white. What am I doing? Oh my god. I'm just eager that it's the last part. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. What we're going to do is before we fill this in with the white wool, we're going to be tracing the outline of this stone here with the light gray wool. So if you don't know what that means, it just means placing the same amount of blocks that are already here with a different type of block. So we're going to trace it. So this one stone block, we put one light gray. So these are two stone blocks, we put two light grays right next to it. That's what called tracing the outline is. It's very simple and easy to do and understand. Okay, so now that we've done that, now we're going to be switching over to the white wool, and now we're going to be filling in this empty space here with the white wool. So let's fill that in. Sorry about that. Got a little eager that it was the end of the tutorial part. Trying to end it fast. There we go. So when we're done filling it in, it should look like that. And now we're going to be time-lapsing this part. So let's head all the way back over here to the left. You see these total of these six empty spaces here within the black wool outline. Only this 6 empty spaces here are going to be filled in with the white wool. So go ahead and do that now while I time-lapse this and fast-forward it. So go ahead and fill those in with the white wool. And when you're done filling it in, it should look like this. We've got a good part of Natsu's scarf pretty much done filled in. We're going to go ahead and continue in part 2, where we're going to finish making his arm and the mark that he has on his arm, and probably finish the entire scarf as well, and probably get started on some of his face. So all that's going to be happening in part 2, so make sure to stay tuned in for that. And of course, guys, make sure to stay tuned in for more Minecraft pixel art remakes, and make sure to check out the next Pawu video that will be uploaded on Monday. It's been a long time since I've uploaded a Pawu video, so make sure to check that out. That's where you have to request. That's where I take all the pixel art requests in the latest Pawu videos. Again, that's going to be uploaded tomorrow. And with all of that being said, make sure to stay tuned in for more Minecraft videos.